All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam A.K. Marf, and this is Marfoogle TV. We've got a lot to go into in a short amount of time, so let's get right into it. Of course, Trump is announcing that Space Command is moving from Colorado to Alabama, but why? Again, some have questioned why the move. President Donald announced on Tuesday that U.S. Space Command will be located in Alabama, reversing a Biden-era decision to keep it as its temporary headquarters in Colorado. The long-expected decision from Trump caps a 4-year-long tug-of-war between two states of opposing administrations about where to locate U.S. Space Command. An intense fight because the headquarters would be a significant boon to the local economy. Again, Alabama and Colorado have long battled to claim Space Command, with elected officials from both states asserting their state is a better location. A quote, direct quote, U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City, said the president, flanked by Republican members of Alabama's congressional delegation from the Oval Office on Tuesday. We had a lot of competition for this, and Alabama's getting it. So again, let me know what you think in this, and is there something that I'm missing? Is there something deep down that a reason why it would be moving to Alabama? Is there something nefarious about the move? Is there a reason to move it from Colorado that is already home to many secure headquarters? All right, again, we'll talk about that and much, much more. We're going to talk about the hospitals and why there is proof that they are preparing for a World War III scenario. So we will be back with that in just a second. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough. Eric says, you just think that the world will end tomorrow. No, I've actually never said that the world will end, and I believe that World War III is not the end, it's just the beginning. It will be the beginning of a brand new world that a lot of people will not like. It will, unfortunately, be kind of a toss-up at this point, because right now there's a lot going on in the world that we, as a group and a community, have noticed, and we've been watching this for a very long time. I think that, for those of you that, detract from anybody saying that something big is coming, then I don't know what to say. There's a lot of people that are just kind of in the dark about this and just think everything is going to be okay and everything is a nothing burger. I am not one of those people. And again, if you don't like scary movies, don't watch scary movies. If you're an adult, if it makes you nervous or if it doesn't make you feel good to watch this kind of stuff, then you are an adult. Nobody's got a pacifier in your mouth. We want to make sure that you're comfortable, and you can always change the channel. Of course, let's bring in my co-host/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So we're going to talk about a ton of things tonight. Let's go into the next one, which is the flight panic as the GPS scenario went down. What happened?
Yeah, so Russian GPS jamming is suspected of sabotaging the EU chief, Ursula von der Leyen's plane. This is coming from officials there. European Commission President's jet was forced to land using paper maps after GPS systems were wiped out at a Bulgarian airport. So she was flying, I believe, from Poland to Bulgaria, leaving Warsaw. And when they got there, they had to circle the airport for about an hour. They had no GPS. All the signals were being jammed. And then they were forced to actually just land the plane using paper maps. So the jet, it lost all electronic navigational aid when approaching the airport's, the city's airport. They're treating it as Russian interference, and they're pointing, obviously, the sole finger at Russia for all the efforts that they've been doing to jam GPS along in various different regions, but obviously more specifically near Ukraine. But in this case, affecting the country of Bulgaria.
And as far as the GPS jamming, the different stories that have arisen from this, it's been a lot. And I just want to point out, thank you, Eden's Vision, for being here. See her think. Eden's Vision said, as a human, it's exhausting. Yeah, as far as following all of this and having all of this kind of in our lifetime, it is not a fun thing to have. It's kind of like a car crash. Nobody wants to see a car crash happen, but most people can't miss it, right? They have to look. They have to see what the heck is going on. And that's kind of what we've been watching for this entire time. Let's see here. Dr. Sean Berry, thank you for being here. In 2001, Pritchard, Alabama police. Oh, man, I'm so sorry about that. And then Gorp Mania, a comet with a very strong electromagnetic field is scary enough. Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about that as more stuff comes out about that. Of course, the weird possible extraterrestrial comet that's heading our way. Rubbernecking, LOL. Yeah, it's always fun to be in traffic because of it, though. And then I heard paper map. I don't believe it. Just some guy, 404. So, yeah, a lot of people look at that United States map of how it will change after events. I don't know what to think about that, but I do think it's pretty creepy to see some of that line up with things that have happened. As far as that new map, it coordinates with something, and I'm trying to remember what was the how the people were moving and how the people were selling their houses in those areas at an alarming rate a couple years ago. I remember we covered something like that. And then SoCal, and then make sure to thank your mods for being here again. Thank you, Jammer. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. And make sure to go check them out on marfooglenews.com/friends. And then Trump announces U.S. military conducted a lethal strike on a Venezuelan drug boat. So, obviously everybody's waiting for a big, huge strike in the middle of Venezuela or in, of course, Mexico even, because now they have talked about these cartels and made them a criminal organization. And they've even said and passed different things that allow them to even strike them. They said that the military conducted a lethal strike on a Venezuelan drug boat in the Caribbean. So this is the first of possibly many strikes. Again, they said during a news conference in Oval Office on Tuesday, President Donald Trump announced the U.S. military shot out a drug boat from Venezuela in the southern Caribbean. Over the last few minutes, we literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, Trump said during the news conference. A lot of drugs in that boat, and you'll be seeing that, and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago. As POTUS just announced moments ago, today the U.S. military conducted a lethal strike in the southern Caribbean against a drug vessel which had departed from Venezuela and was being operated by a designated narco-terrorist organization, the NTO as they call them now, right? So this is a strike in foreign waters, and it is taking out a potential drug-carrying boat. Who knows where all those drugs went? I'm sure if they did a really big strike, then those drugs are going to be at the bottom of the ocean or in the Caribbean. In fact, if you have a Caribbean vacation planned, I wouldn't drink the water. Again, very, very concerning as far as we're seeing now the first of possibly many strikes on these cartels. Dex, this is the first actual strike that we're hearing about. I mean, unless I missed something, I don't think that there has been a physical strike on something like this, or at least even announced in this kind of way.
Well, yeah, we've moved our military warships into the area, submarines, destroyers, etc., numerous into the Venezuelan area. Venezuela moved their warships. Venezuela put troops on alert, moved them to the borders in preparation for potential strikes from the U.S. So now this is the first, I guess, as we were expecting. I mean, we were just talking about this in our last show a couple of days ago about how war with Venezuela is about to kick off. And here we have, the president announcing about this lethal strike against this Venezuelan boat. Now, I kind of chuckle and think that the mainstream media is going to announce, the U.S. strikes civilian boat, peaceful civilian boat in the Caribbean. They haven't done that yet, but it just seems like that's the way they would frame this. But certainly coming from the administration, they're telling us it is a drug boat and it was taken out by the U.S. military.
Yeah, I could see them saying it was a tour boat it was just, they were on a 3-hour tour and they were lost at sea. The president took out Gilligan. And before we move,
a party boat. That's why I had all that on there.
Exactly. Yeah, that wasn't a bunch. It was just a couple lines on the table, and that was congressman. Before we move on, make sure to go check out EMP Shield if you haven't already. This is our recommendation. If you do want to protect your cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats against pretty much anything as far as an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse attack, or a CME from the sun, the natural kind, then you definitely want to have one of these on it. Again, this device can easily be wired in less than 10 minutes into your car, and that means that your car is going to run. You're going to be able to get home to your family or get out to bug out. It'll also turn your home, your entire home, into a fancy surge protector. So if you've ever spent a lot of money on a surge protector to protect your computers and your stuff at your office, then you might think less of this price, because for the home version, it's actually going to turn your entire home into a surge protector. So everything plugged into the wall is going to be protected within 250 linear feet of where it is wired in. So if you think about that, it's the price about 2 or 3 or possibly 4 of the smaller ones of those fancy surge protectors. So again, go over and check it out, marfooglenews.com/EMP, and make sure to use the code MARF. That will get you $50 off per device, and it will help our channel out at the same time. We are independent. We choose this product. Nobody chooses our products for us. That's why we have the same products. As much as some might not want to see the same product for years, for us, we only stand for stuff that we believe is going to save you through a disaster, going to make you more comfortable through one, or that is going to have you, be surviving on. So again, marfooglenews.com/EMP, and make sure to use that code MARF. All right, and then we have France. This is crazy. Dex, do you want to talk about what France just ordered?
Yeah, so France has put its hospitals on a war footing, ordering them to prepare for the day Europe is plunged into an all-out conflict with Russia, or World War III, as many will refer to it. But the health bosses have been told to brace for a major engagement. They're saying it could be as soon as March 2026, which, if you think about it, it's not that far away, with chilling instructions to be ready to treat a flood of wounded troops from across the continent. So they're specifically talking about not just French, but obviously a lot of foreign. So according to the documents obtained, the plan assumes France will become a hub for battlefield casualties. It would need to absorb hundreds of injured soldiers from both its own forces and those of its NATO allies. The French Ministry of Health said the order was designated to anticipate, prepare, and respond to the health needs of the population while integrating the specific needs of defense in the health field. So they're not backing down. Like, they know and they believe, and they're pushing, obviously, because they've been beating the war drum for years now, that this war with Russia is going to unfold. And this is not a clear sign. It's sort of like when you hear, Russia moving blood and blood donations and blood supplies to the front lines on a drill. Well, that may not be a drill. It may turn out to be what? Oh, an invasion. And that's what it was. So these are the types of events you see countries, and in this case, healthcare, as a specific portion of the readiness for war. You see them prepared. You see them do this and put these things into action, like getting their hospitals in a position to start treating and being prepared to treat, thousands and thousands of NATO soldiers, Western soldiers.
And if you look at the location of France, they keep saying to prepare for a potential major engagement, and they're giving them a specific date. Now, I don't put dates on things, but I will say this: I've been saying, even when people last week were saying that a lot of people think that this might go down with China this year, even in the next month because of the conditions, I've been saying I believe it probably won't, and that it will probably happen next year. or at the very latest 2027. 2026 seems like it's the year. Especially since all of the predictions are 2027. You've got Mike Minahan actually, sending out memos to his people underneath him saying, get ready for this, get ready for a war with China. You've got bases like Edwards Air Force Base preparing for a Pearl Harbor type event. Now you have, of course, major hospitals told to essentially get ready for a potential major engagement, right? This is something that is not a surprise. This is something that they should be doing. They should be doing much before that. But there's also the issue of panicking people. I think that this is slowly going to roll out, and all of these people, the friends and family, and all the people that think that nothing is going to happen, soon it's going to turn into, no matter where they look, it's going to be war. This is something that it's going to happen. World War III is inevitable in my mind. For all of you glass half fulls, I'm totally with you on being positive. But I think that this is something that is so inevitable that we have to prepare for it, that we should all be looking at this, that friends and family should have food and water. And I think it would be a service to everybody. The more families across the United States that are prepared for a potential event, the less we are going to be in a very dire situation. The thing that scares me about our grid going down or any kind of event that happens here is the people that are not prepared. How many of you agree with that? I mean, how many of you are more nervous about the people that aren't prepared than about your own preparations? Most of the people I've talked to, at least in this community, a lot of people have a lot of food. They've got a lot of water. They've got a lot of gadgets and gear to handle any situation. But your neighbor doesn't. And what your neighbor might have is just a weapon to come and take your stuff that you have been plotting and planning for years, right? So that's one thing I always think about. And then see here, hey, nice to see you. We've got Gorp Mania, just some guy. Thank you, Craig Thomas, Christian Mercier, KK King. Let's see here, RN Flan. Let's see here, we've got Lori Watson. Nice to see you, Dazed. And Dwarf Star, nice to see you, Photo. Those people are going to be miserable. Well, and that's the thing. It's worse than miserable. It's scared, it's afraid, and it's desperate. Desperation is what's going to become really scary when things go down. Again, I don't think it's the end of the world. World War III will be just really, really bad. I believe in the United States, they will go after our power grid, and I think that they will go after communications. So we won't have internet. I won't be able to do a video and tell you what's going on. I won't be able to tell you that, hey, all of the military members are saying they're about to get shipped out, because I don't believe we will have internet. So a lot of these things you definitely want to prepare for before they happen, not after. And then China considers turning treacherous stretch into deadly minefield to trap enemy submarines. Think about what we're talking about here. They are now debating minefields in oceans right now. What does that say? That says to me that they are preparing for a world war scenario. Why? Like, if you are going to be putting mines in certain places in the ocean, especially in an ocean now, they claim all as their own, including in places that, frankly, none of the other people in the world think that it's theirs. Especially the places that are just a couple 100 miles or 100 miles or 20 miles outside of places. Again, some of their neighbors. You've got the Philippines, you've got Taiwan, you've got Japan, you've got many others that are in this zone that are essentially getting kind of punked out of their waters. And now they're talking about an actual freaking minefield, again, right in this area. Again, considers doing these treacherous minefields to trap submarines. A recent research from Chinese military scientists outlines plans to turn the perilous underwater terrain around the Paracel Islands into a highly strategic submarine kill zone. Now, what this also tells me is that the Spratly Islands are a forward operating base, which I've been saying since the day. You can go back to my oldest shows when the mainstream media was still saying that they believed that these islands, these plots of dirt at the point, when I said this, I knew, many others did too, that this was not going to be, some sort of mineral deposit, mineral mining operation. Right now, as we sit here, They have SAM sites. They have anti-air. They have, of course, runways. They have airfields. They have submarine pits. They have, of course, docks and ports, all that have been made out of nowhere in the Spratly Islands. These Spratly Islands are a forward operating base, or multiple forward operating bases, and they're going to basically booby trap it because they are going to be a very, very strategic place in World War III, in our Navy battle with the U.S., China, with Australia and China, with Japan and China, all of these. They are thinking that that's going to be their hardened, protected area where they're going to deploy from. They might even put those bridge ships out from there. Dex, what do you think when you see them talking about, or even, talking about the plans for minefields around the Spratly Islands? It shows importance.
These are really, specifically in the Paracel Islands, these are really important because they're what they're called acoustic shadow zones. So these are areas where they can be leveraged to allow their intelligent minds to avoid detection. So it really does set, as they want, a lethal trap for these submarines. So they're not able to detect it based on the way that zone, as they call it, an acoustic shadow. In other words, they can't be seen acoustically if they place them there. So if they build this, it can certainly cause trouble. We have had a history of running, freedom of navigation operations in that region with both submarines, which don't surface necessarily. We just presume that they're there. But we also have surface vessels that go through those areas as well, especially along those reefs, with both the Philippines and then obviously through other areas of the South China Sea.
Yeah, I mean, this is straight a plot out of a movie. To have all of this stuff going on underwater, and then China claims that we have some sort of system that we put in the water that's able to essentially communicate through the water all over the world. So it seems like just in the last month and a half, they've been really focused on our Navy and on our submarines. So that's a sign that obviously something is kicking up. And then, Dex, let's talk about the viral video. It shows the object being thrown out of the White House upper level.
Yeah, this is odd. It's not something that happens every day, but apparently a video was captured, and you can see in the image there of a garbage bag of something being thrown out of the upper level of the White House. So it went viral. Everybody was talking about it, suggesting what it could be. Of course, a lot of people wanted to speculate that it was the First Lady throwing something out, which turns out, as they say, the official story is that it was actually just construction workers doing work and throwing construction garbage out down to the ground below. Apparently, we don't know other than what they tell us, but certainly everybody was up in arms because it's like, how often do you see, something being thrown out of the window of the upper story of the White House? So that certainly caught everybody's attention, and everybody's got their speculation as to what possibly could have been, why that would even happen.
What if it was something dangerous that they saw, or if it was a potential, improvised explosive or something, and they did quick thinking and threw it out the window, not knowing what it was? What if it was an envelope with something in it, and they threw it in a bag and just tossed it out the window as fast as they could? Or was it just construction? Were they putting in a new tunnel or slide to a safe room or something? Who knows? What kind of construction would they be doing? Maybe they could have been fixing a wall, or fixing a spot. Maybe
adding some gold, I'm sure.
Yeah, adding some gold, right? To the molding. They could have been adding gold crown molding to the toilet. You never know. It's Donald. And then the slow train from North Korea, how Kim Jong-un travels to China. So this is what I suggested too, that he was going to take that same train. I think the other day we were debating on how he would get there, and I was thinking this train too. This is the same train that they ran through before. He used this before. This train is like a super armored weapon train. North Korean Kim Jong-un arrived in Beijing on Tuesday in his signature green armored train, relying on a slow but specialized form of transport that the reclusive country's leaders have used for decades. Compared with North Korea's aging fleets of passenger aircraft, the bulletproof train offers a safer and more comfortable space for a large entourage, security guards, food and amenities, and a place to discuss agendas ahead of the meetings. Now, inside the train, it is actually like a nice hotel, right? But on the outside, apparently this thing is all armored up in case there was something, even an airstrike. There's rumors that this thing could survive an airstrike. And it says state media photos on Tuesday showed Kim with senior officials taking a cigarette break next to a green carriage emblazoned with gold-colored crests and trim. Maybe they do have more in common than we think. And sitting in a wood-paneled office in front of a large gold crest flanked by the North Korean flag. On Kim's desk sat a gold-embossed laptop computer, a bank of telephones, his signature box of cigarettes, and bottles with blue or clear liquids. The windows were trimmed with blue and gold curtains. Man, it's like, brother from another mother, man. A video released in 2018 of North Korean state TV showed Kim meeting with top Chinese officials in a wide train car ringed with pink couches. In 2020, state TV footage showed Kim riding a train to visit a typhoon-hit area, offering a glimpse of carriage decorated with flower-shaped lighting and zebra-printed fabric chairs. Sounds like he's, I don't know. Sounds like he's a middle-aged Floridian retiree as far as the designing goes, but as far as the train, this thing is supposed to be like a tank, a rolling tank. And it's kind of interesting to think that, he's rolling over there. Now all three of them, Putin, Xi Jinping, and Kim Jong-un, are all there. In fact, if you didn't see the tweet that is the top thing on my Twitter, if you guys go over to the Twitter here, I'll just show you real quick. Let me pop this open.
While you're doing that, Adam, did you know that when he travels to Russia on that train, they have to reconfigure the wheels at the border because the train system is a different gauge in Russia than in North Korea. The rail
Isn't
system.
it a different?
So
it's a different width or something, or there's an extra
something
wheel,
like that. They have to readjust all the wheels to shift over to Russian tracks. They don't have to do that for China because apparently North Korea and China are the same rail. But yeah, when it goes to Russia, it's a different gauge.
So we just showed everybody over on Marfoogle News. There's a lot of you that did not watch that short just now. So I will just show you this real quick. Again, Donald J. over on Truth Social ended up saying the big question to be answered is whether or not President Xi or China will mention the massive amount of support and blood that the United States of America gave to China in order to help it secure its freedom from a very unfriendly foreign invader. That foreign invader being Japan, that was invading China during right before World War II kicked off. In fact, our embargo or our actual actions towards Japan to withhold the oil and to stop everything from going there, that is what caused Pearl Harbor. That's what they were pissed off about. Many Americans died in China's quest for victory and glory. I hope that they are rightfully honored and remembered for their bravery and sacrifice. May President Xi and the wonderful people of China have a great lasting day of celebration. Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America. President Donald J. So you've got yourself a very, just putting it straight out, spelling it out for people that don't know. These three countries are three of the top countries conspiring together against the United States. That tells you if there's going to be a massive event with Russia and NATO, with Kim Jong-un and South Korea, which I believe is already in the works right there, and China and Taiwan, all three of them will hit at the same time, along with other countries like Venezuela and Guyana. Right now, we've got a huge chunk of military there. A huge chunk of our Navy is down by Venezuela. And do people think it's to take out small little drug boats? I don't know. And maybe it's something much, much bigger. But it will eventually be that. And maybe this is practice. Maybe those ships are practicing what they're going to do during that time period. especially since now we're hearing that there's ships being deployed also to, there's going to be practices run in South China Sea again. So what the hell is going on here? Very, very interesting. Now, before we move on, make sure to go check out Energy. If you do want to get yourself a good solar generator, this is one of the best. In fact, we think that this would be in our affiliate the entire time around. Only this actual generator, the Flex Tactical, is right now just a small batch. Otherwise, they have actually stopped all sales of the Flex 1500. You cannot buy it. Go over and check it out, marfooglenews.com/energy. Again, that's marfooglenews.com/energy, INERGY, and make sure to use the code Marfoogle. Again, it is an amazing unit. Just won the SBRF Phase 1 contract, for the U.S. Army, and that is mostly why they got so caught up with that contract. They stopped selling to the public. So there's a small batch of those. Again, the Tactical is steel reinforced. It's got heaters for extreme cold temperatures. It's weather resistant. It has, of course, fans for warmer temperatures. It's got latches that you can just quickly click and boom, you can take 1 battery or 5 batteries. They all click in almost like Lego. So go over to marfooglenews.com/energy, INERGY, and make sure to use the code Marfoogle. Not only will you get a massive discount, you will also help our channel out at the same time. All right, and then hey, thank you, Eden's Vision. Thank you for the super. It says, thank you, mods, Adam Dex, for keeping us informed. Well, thank you, and thank you. I appreciate that. Boring Hornet, thank you for the super. I appreciate that as well. Thank you, guys. And then Saren, thank you so much for subscribing. Billy, thank you for subscribing. Sarah, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. And then Dex, let's go over the world's most powerful laser defense system.
Right. So this is what is one of the many things expected to be unveiled at the military parade tomorrow with China. This is being dubbed the world's most powerful laser air defense system. Of course, nobody has seen what's underneath the tarp on top of this truck, but it's supposed to be allegedly their fancy laser system. If you may recall, back in the past at these parades have been a historical point for the PLA to show off certain things. Like in 2015, they were showing that they had strategic missiles capable of hitting the U.S. mainland. 2019, starting to show off the drone warfare and the advance of the GJ-11 attack drone was unveiled for the first time. But they did make a point to say that everything that's going to be shown in this parade is active duty. Everything in this parade is production. None of this is prototype. None of this is futuristic. It's all current technology that they have now ready for the battlefield, even though a lot of it allegedly is supposed to be for the first time we've ever seen or revealed to the public. And we also expect to see a lot of their ship killing, as they call them, offensive weapons like the missile systems, the hypersonics that they intend to use against our fleets.
Yeah, this lowrider truck here appears to, and I just wonder what level this is going to be on. If it's going to be, is this for, what? I guess what is this thing going to be able to take down? And I wonder, if this thing is as bad as they think it is. Jane from Tennessee, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super. I appreciate that. And thank you, Barracks04. Thank you for subscribing, and I appreciate that. Thank you for joining as a member. And then thank you, Sarah, for joining as a member as well. All right, well, so we're going to follow this. Again, what do you guys think about the hospitals being told to prepare for a major engagement? They're even putting specific timeframes out there, March of 2026. 2026 seems to be a year that just keeps resonating. It's before the 2027 kind of deadline that most military have put on there in Pentagon. And it is really fitting into where things are headed and how all of the major countries that we are now facing, all of them are all kind of going towards this pyramid of preparation. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you, Dex. I appreciate you. Thank you for your service tonight.
Much love. Great job, brother.
And make sure to go check out our website. You have a full bibliography of every single article, tweet, video, picture, document. All you have to do is look for this thumbnail, proof they are preparing for World War III. Again, make sure to go over and check that out. You have a bibliography, every single source there for you at your fingertips. Thank you, Jane from Tennessee. Thank you so much. I believe you are a top supporter tonight, so thank you, Boring Hornet and Eden's Vision as well. I appreciate that. Top fans tonight over in chat. Jane from Tennessee, number 1. Eden's Vision, number 2. Boring Hornet, number 3. Wharton Fissel. Spectre. Gorge, get your gear on. Thank you. Jammer, number 6. Miko Seta. Autumn Joy at 8. And at Paula Carell at number 9, and JC4321 with Ilea right behind in number 11. Thank you, Ilea. I appreciate that. Make sure to go check out the mods over at marfuglenews.com/friends. And thank you, everybody that has supported us via PayPal. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much. And again, thank you, and thank you. All right, you guys, have a wonderful night. I hope you have a great one. And be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. It is now time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. If you're in the chat, all you have to do is stay there. You'll be ported over. If you're watching the replay, if you want to join us for the shoutro, find it in the description down below.